Well, good afternoon, my friends. You have reached the NeedleBugg, and my name is Karen. And today I thought we'd get together and do a little bit of stitching. It's been a while since I did a stitch with me, so I do believe it's time to do one. Now, you're probably going, oh, what is that? Well, guess what? True to form, my friends, I have started something new. Oh, you should never be surprised. Never be surprised. There's always something new on the forefront. This is a cropped version of, um, let me think of the designer. Hold on. Cross Stitch Studios, God Shed His Grace. And it is, let me show you the picture if I can. Here we go. Mock-up, here we go. It is, I cropped out this portion of the chart. So that is what I'm working on. And I, of course, started up here in this little corner. Let's see if I can, no, you can't see it. Yeah, up in the corner, the top right corner. So I'm in a lot of, grays, and then there's gray, and then there's so far a little more gray, just different shades of gray. But that is what we're going to stitch today. So I hope you will all get your stitching, get a beverage, and join me in, I guess maybe we'll do about, I don't know, half hour, 45 minutes, maybe a little longer. We'll see how much I have to yak about today, because we all know, well, you know, I can always find something to jibber jabber about. Yeah. So before I go too far, as everybody else, I want to let you all know that I don't do giveaways all that often, but I do them upon occasion. And if you should see any comments added to your comment under any of my videos that you have won something, that is not me. If and when I do giveaways, they will be announced in the video. Okay, so after it's announced in the video, you may see a message to contact. You may see a message to contact me, but check the video. If it is not announced in the video, it is not me. And I only say that because in the past, way past, I have put messages after the announcement in the video on your comment to say, get a hold of me, you are a winner. However, I will no longer be doing that. So if it's there, disregard it. It's not me. The only way winners will be announced is in a video. So that's out of the way. And any of you that are in my Facebook groups, just to give you a heads up, they have been getting a lot of requests. My group has gotten as many as 10 in one day. The likelihood that they are scammers is extremely high because the questions are not answered appropriately. So any of you that are going to request to join, please answer the questions in an appropriate manner. And what I have also done is added that anyone who is a new member to this applies mainly to the diagonal stitching group. Anyone that's a new member will have to have their posts monitored for the first 30 days. I've been trying really, really hard to keep that, well, to keep any of my groups from getting scammers in them, because what they were doing is once, and of course I let them in, not thinking that, oh geez, why would somebody do that? What they were doing is they were creating events, and the events were of the kind of, come work for us, and it gave you numbers to get in contact with them, but still the likelihood is that they were going to scam you in some way, shape, or form. And I don't want that in our groups. And I want our groups to stay a safe place where you can feel comfortable. You don't have to worry about being taken advantage of. So anyone that does apply for the group, just be forewarned that for 30 days, your post will have to be approved before it can, before you can just post without that. The events tab has been removed so that if people want an event to be posted, they would have to go through me in order to do that. So I just wanted to clear those two things up right up front. The internet is a wonderful place, and this is a wonderful community. And we have, well, I know I have made a wonderful group of friends, most of which I will probably never in this lifetime meet, but they are wonderful, dear, special internet friends who I value and think a lot of. And I don't want to see anyone taken advantage of or harmed in any way by these people that are really trying to get one over on somebody. So if that would happen to someone in one of my groups, I would be very, very upset about that, because that's not what this group is. And there are just so many people out there that are trying to take advantage of other people. And well, it's just not right. It's just plain not right. And we all need to stick together and keep each other safe. So if any of you are in my group, and you see something that looks suspicious, don't hesitate to get a hold of me or to report it, and I will deal with it. So it's a sad state of affairs. It's, if people could just put as much energy in doing something good for someone as they are for trying to take advantage of people, this world could be a much better place. Much better place. But that is my little 2 cents on that. Well, but then that I travel over into, or that segues into, not only are people trying to run scams, but what also hurts my heart anyway is people that hide behind their keyboard and they say things in comments on posts to people who that is just not nice. It's like, whatever happened to the days when your mother taught you if you didn't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all? They're gone. They're gone. It's too easy because because people are not face to face with each other. It's too easy for some people to just spurt things out that maybe they're not intended, but because you can't hear that inflection, that tone of voice that something is said with, and you kind of read it in your head of how you're thinking it sounds, and it comes across as not very kind. And there are people that find it okay to say things to others that really aren't very kind. And I always have to remind people, would you say that to someone if you were sitting face to face? If you would not say that to someone's face, please don't say it on the internet. And that, again, is just my opinion. I'm trying to tell, did I cross those stitches? I didn't cross two of them. I have to go back and get them later. Oh, that would be me. So that's my little 2 cents on internet and group etiquette. It just, it just, it's just a pet peeve, and it annoys me that when people can't be nice. But hopefully, I have instituted enough changes on my groups that I'm able to not to at least recognize um, and not let those people in. And that brings me to mind. I don't know if you don't know a lot about how people get scammed and what goes on when people are being scammed and taken advantage of and don't realize it. And believe me, it happens. They are so good at catching you so off guard that sometimes you end up caught before you realize it. Um, a good a good YouTube videos to watch is called Scammer Payback. And this fellow, and I believe he's just a young man, maybe in his early 30s or so, and I'm just guessing at that. But he works with, I believe he works with the police or some law enforcement agency, and he actually calls up he calls up the scammers pretending that he's a recipient of one of their scams. Uh, and when they want to sign into his computer, he's actually signing into their computer. And then he's going in and deleting files and um, messing with them so that they lose all their information to be able to contact people. but you learn a lot about how the scams operate and what these scammers are telling you to do, so that I know for me, it made me far more aware of what can happen, so that hopefully we can avoid hopefully I can avoid being a victim, because some of these people lose tons of money. And that's just one of the things they do is they get you to sign in to your bank account, and they get you to tell them how much money you have. And then when they're supposedly issuing you a refund for whatever it was that they supposedly billed you for, but didn't really bill you for because it's fake, um, what they'll do is they'll say, okay, your refund is $300, but they will make a fake page of your bank account. And when you fill out this form that they tell you to fill out, instead of $300, they tell you you made a mistake and you actually typed in $30,000. And then they want you to send that back. So yeah, watch it and see. It's very, I really got an education by watching that. And I don't think people are going to trick me again. Okay, so that's enough about that. Let's talk some stitching. So I'm running out of thread here, and let me mark off my chart before I lose my place. I did those. I just did those. And I jumped over there and did that. Okay. I'm running out of thread. And if you watched one of my last videos on a new way to end your threads, I have been trying that. A new way to end and a new way to start. I have been attempting to do that. And I only have a little bit of thread left here, so I'm going to do it on this one. Okay. I don't have to, well, we've been doing different methods of not having to turn your work for quite some time. But this method, I am truly, really loving. Now, I don't necessarily recommend this for like 25 count over one, because I think it's a little bit harder to do. However, Haley of Stitching Big Things with Haley has tried it, and it has worked beautifully for her on her 25 count 1 over 1. Okay. Right now, today, I'm working on 20 count 1 over 1. And I don't believe that you can see any place that I have started or ended threads on this piece of stitching. If you can, do let me know, because I'd be hard pressed to remember where I started and ended a thread. I really can't tell. So right now I was stitching with a ballpoint needle. What I'm going to do, just to make it easier to slide under, is I'm going to switch to a 28, because I find the ball makes it a little bit harder to get underneath the stitches. Okay, so I'm going to complete the leg. Let me zoom you in a bit more. so you can see a bit better. Oops. Hold on. What did we? Okay, you guys are so used to my bloopers. So here we go again. Okay, well, we're just going to go with that. I'm not sure why it's so blurry. It's getting a little better. Normally, I don't have trouble. The settings on my phone. Okay. Well, we're just going to go with that for the rest of this. Okay. Anyway, this new way I totally love. And as you can't tell, I have used this method throughout this whole stitched area, and you cannot tell where I did it. So I'm going to complete the X, right? And then I'm going to come up in the middle or in the last leg of that X. And then I am just going to take my needle and go underneath like, pardon my shaky hands, underneath like 2 or 3 stitches, like so, and pull this through like so. Just do that. Get my scissors and clip it off as close as you can. And you can't tell that I finished a stitch there. Like how this picture's showing. Oh, that's worse. It was fine until I had this on Do Not Disturb, and somehow I think I bumped something. So let's just go here. There we go. I think that's better. There we go. That's better. Okay. So where we ended, or where I ended that thread, was right in here. And you can't tell. You cannot tell. I think it is just absolutely a fantastic way to end your thread. You don't have to flip over. You can either end up or you can go across. Whichever way, you're going to get under 2 or 3 stitches so that I guess if you just had one showing here, you could go over that and into this next stitch, but then that's going to cover that need to be stitched place, and you may think it's stitched when it isn't. So that could get a little confusing. So I try to end at a place where I can go under several stitches on the top, and then when I start a thread, I'm also doing that a bit differently. I'll start with this needle. Okay, I'm doing that a bit differently. So okay, I stitched that stitch. All right, so I want to start here. So what I am doing is I'm running my thread underneath. If you look at the threads in your Aida cloth, you can see that there's spaces that you can go up, or spaces that are vertical, spaces that are horizontal. So I'm going up underneath that. I'm going to put my needle down in that square. Okay. And I'm going to come up in this corner. Right. So that I am leaving just the teeniest, tiniest little tail, like this, to be stitched over. Get that as hidden as I can. Go down the first leg. Come up. I'm used to my ballpoint needle on these sharper. Come up for the second leg. Cross it. Do the next stitch. Cross that. Skip one. And then do the next stitch. Now, once again, if you did not know, and I apologize for this quality of this picture today, it is not my normal thing. I just don't know what happened with my camera when that phone call went. And I think it was me bumping something that actually made the call. But anyway, again, you can't tell. You just can't tell where I started that thread. I love this. Absolutely love this. And I will be doing the entire picture using this method, because you just can't tell. It's fantastic. Fantastic. So that's my little helpful hint for today. So try it. Let me know how you like it, because I would be very, very interested. Yeah, I plan on doing the whole thing this way. And as a result, wait till you see this. other than some places where I carried threads, look how, well, that one would I need to cut off yet because I did turn over an end of thread there. But look how nice. Look how nice. I'm just impressed with this way. Very impressed. Now, I will say that when I stitch, I do try and do the colors in an area that have the least amount of stitches. So I was working in this like 20 by, oh, let's just say these 9 blocks. So in these 9 blocks, I tried to do the stitches that had the fewest. Okay. So that when I did the stitches that had the most, I was covering up any of those travels. And you see how that works. I just am just extremely happy with it. Yeah, this could be my new method. Now, remember, this is not a heaven and earth chart. This is, and in all honesty, I think this has so far less confetti than a heaven and earth chart. And you know, that's the reason that I really wanted to start this and stitch this, because full coverage, basically all I have stitched is heaven and earth. So will this method on a heaven and earth that has color changes every other stitch work up just as nicely? I can't answer that. This chart is by Cross Stitch Studio, and I found it to be, yes, there's about the same amount of colors, but well, let's take a bigger look at the chart. Okay. I mean, you have the same amount of colors, but just look at this block. There's a lot of one color. Move over to the next one. It's not like you're going to have, in this block, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10 different colors. Roughly 10, 11, thereabouts, different colors. A heaven and earth design, you could have 20 or 30 different colors in a 10 by 10 block. So I was curious, is stitching full coverage by other designers, for lack of a better way to put it, easier than stitching heaven and earth? There's nothing, I've stitched my share and I have my share of heaven and earth started. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with them. There is absolutely nothing wrong with them. But I was just wanting to compare different charts by different people and their charting methods as far as the ease of stitching. Because you know, once you're getting up here in years, you don't maybe have 5 or 6 or 7 years to put in on a project. And you want something that you can stitch a little bit faster on. That's where my head is at. So I did want to experiment a little. So that's another reason why, besides I just really loved this chart. And I'll show it to you again. It is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful? Yeah. Yeah. Now, what's it going to be like when I get down here in the trees or in the cabin? That all will remain to be seen. So I might be chomping on my words. Get ready. It very well could be. I might be chomping on them. But that's my chart. That's a review of how I'm starting and ending threads these days. Loving it tremendously. Just absolutely loving it tremendously. And here we go again. Back out here a little more. Because here we go again. Okay, you all know I was putting my floss in envelopes, not in envelopes, in floss away bags. I had them all in this little wooden box. And that was working beautifully. However, oh, there's always a however. You know that. There's always a however. It takes more time being of the essence, to flip through the bags, to find the color, to pull out 6 strands, to separate one, to put the rest back in the bag, to put it back in the file, to thread your needle, stitch. So I remembered a video that I'd seen put out by I think it's pronounced Komari, Komari. She's the gal that is stitching Once Upon a Fairy Tale. I believe I want to say she's Japanese, but I am not 100% sure of that. I do know that she is Oriental of some sort, I believe. At any rate, she had a system where she had strips with holes in it and the numbers. And then she put it onto a card that she had all these strips lined up. And her thread was larks headed through the holes. Okay, how can I do that? Well, I have some heavy duty cardstock ordered. Should be here today yet that I'm going to do that, and some Velcro. But in the meantime, I had these low-ran project cards. So I put my thread. Now, I only put a strand or 2 of each color. Okay, only a strand or 2 of each color. And I put them, well, there's some on the other side. I used these little clippy things to clip them onto a board temporarily. There we go. And now they're just hanging like this on this board. And so far, they have not gotten all knotted up. They've stayed pretty nice so far. Okay. And all I have to do now is find my color and pull one thread out. Now, when my other cardstock gets here, I probably going to put them on the board this way and put this card on top of this one so that this is actually covered up, I think. But what worries me about that is, what if when you pull a thread, it gets all pulled up here and funky? I'm not quite sure about that. So I may just put them on and let them this way. And if you use Velcro instead of these clips, you can lift it off to refill any holes that need more thread. Just another way to experiment with, because you guys all know NeedleBugg switches things up all the time. She is always doing something different. So that is my story for today. My story of what can we do different? What did I do different? The new chart I started. Yeah. Other things have gone into timeout because I really am kind of concentrating on this one right now because I want to see how my experiments are working. So other things have not gone in the UFO pile, but have gone in the timeout pile for now. Really, I am a one at a time stitcher at heart. I really am. I can switch a little bit, but I kind of get hooked on one, and that's what I want to stitch. So we'll see how it goes. So, my friends, I think I'm going to bid you farewell for today. I hope you try this new way of starting and ending a thread and let me know how you like it, because like I said, I'm finding it really rather enjoyable, and I don't have to flip. I can't tell where I start and end threads, and everything seems to be secure. Granted, I only have, how many stitches do I have done? I only have pushing 800 stitches, but so far so good. So give it a try. Let me know what you think. And with that, I will see you the next time. And again, my apologies for my crazy cell phone camera. I thought I had it fixed, but doggone, every time something happens. So we'll try again next time. So have a great weekend, my friends, and I will see you next time. Take care. And remember, you know, the only rules in cross stitch are the ones you set for yourself. Bye-bye.